Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on this show. I just thought I'd take some time and reflect with you about what is happening with the struggle of Ambazonia to free itself from a very brutal occupation that has been going on for over half a century now. That occupation has resulted in a war that is raging on the ground, and this war is one which, when it started, there was a lot of euphoria about it, but right now things are kind of quiet about it publicly. There's a lot of quietness in the public, except for some people who cannot stop talking, and middlemen who are out there posturing. Even they too have toned down because there's nothing they're saying that hasn't been said before or that we haven't heard, and nothing changed in the struggle. So publicly there's not very much happening, but I can say privately there's a lot going on, and these are some of the things that I wanted us to reflect on. I know that because of what is happening on the ground, the intensification of the struggle on the ground is getting people to think again that there's something happening, and waking up the antennas again. But without that, I think publicly things have been very quiet. And what is happening on the ground is more a result of some of what has been happening quietly, and that's some of what I want us to reflect about, so that we know that we have a struggle that's going on, and even those who have become quiet and have been bamboozled by the confusion around are still very troubled inside. And that's why sometimes I take the time and I come so that we continue to deal with this issue. Is the issue of our lives. It is the issue of the lives of our family members and friends that we left back home. So whenever there's an opportunity to do something, especially being this far away, I know our people would do. But whenever that opportunity becomes messed up by confusion and by mistrust and by the failures of others in doing their job, then we remain troubled, and we remain in our own little corners and bear the pain. And so I think that there's a necessity to come and let's reflect on what's really going on. So like I said, publicly, especially in the diaspora, there's not very much going on, but privately there's a lot going on. There's a lot of personal initiatives going on in different areas and in different aspects of the struggle. I think the indictments that came out lately about some Ambazonians who the law is taking a look at their activities tells you that a lot has been happening. And I'm talking about some of the indictments of people like Mangang, and that's the one prominent name that has been out there. But there are more people than just her, and that shows that there are personal initiatives taking place by private individuals and the tremendous risk they take on behalf of Ambazonia. Now, what has been surprising for me with some of what is happening to these private initiatives is what some people have said about those private initiatives. It's been shameful. I heard people who they are on record as people who have destroyed this revolution in the diaspora and also down in the territory. People who were in positions to do better, who were given authority to do better. And they actually showed the worst of us. When these indictments came out, they came out laughing at Mangang in particular, laughing the initiatives, making assumptions, very false assumptions, without knowing what drives people like her to do the things they do in order to, and then bear the risk they bear. And then we know about it only when things go wrong. Because if things went right, and I know some of these people have done way more work that was a lot riskier, that have really benefited the struggle. Because some of these people who are out there laughing at them, without even mentioning names, you can tell that these are some of the people who have been who have been responsible for the demise of some of the efforts that the diaspora could have actually championed, and then prevented some of these private initiatives that people take tremendous risk to go and undertake. But I don't want to spend time talking about those negative forces, because they're still out there being negative and really contributing nothing to this struggle. I really want to read a piece that was written by Mr. Sikot Justin on Facebook, which I read, and I thought that is really the spirit that is really building this revolution. And she wrote this piece about Mangang. She said, Mangang, she's a woman, but does what many men cannot do. She's intelligent, smart, focused, dedicated, and poised. She's a woman for the moment and for all times. She does extra jobs to finance the struggle. Just 10 of her type can liberate Ambazonia without a man's help. She deserves all the support and encouragement in her plight. She remains an embodiment of courage and encouragement. What an amazing woman. She doesn't need a man nor a group to fight for her or support her, for she can do it all by herself. Nevertheless, I will stand for her, fast for her, intercede for her, and galvanize support for her. One thing I know for sure, America is a country of laws. Victory will be hers at the end. I promise you one thing, Mama Nga. We shall not lose focus, and we shall work harder so that the small pain you feel will not go in vain. That is what a patriot would say about another patriot who has fallen. It is said, and this is an Igbo saying, that it is in the house of the coward that people meet to mourn the fall of a hero. And you can tell that in that house, the cowards pretend to be the wise ones. I just wanted to bring that. But I brought that not to highlight anything, but to say that those are the private initiatives that have been working. Now, this one got interrupted somehow, but there are others that have worked really well and that did not face the kind of risk that that these other people who have been indicted face. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the group like CDM, Coalition for Dialogue and Negotiation. That's a group that has done a lot of work to promote the struggle. I have watched them bring dignitaries all over the world to discuss our issue. Those are private initiatives that obviously promote the struggle, puts it in places that we cannot individually get to. Having said that, let me say that this group presented a document a few days ago, and it was called council of elders. In that council of elders, I did not see any of the elders that we know that have pioneered this struggle for years. They've written books, they've placed arguments, they've lost their careers. Some are in exile, many are in exile, not some, but I did not see the names of those people. Those are the people who, if you ask me who are the elders of our struggle, I will point at them. But the list that CDN put out, I looked at that list. I think I know about one or two people there. And if you ask those people, I don't know if they will even say that they're the elders of the struggle. And so I worry about some of these private initiatives that may start off very well and are well-intentioned, but somehow get derailed. And then I was reading somewhere where somebody was actually talking about CDN putting a negotiation team to go and negotiate on our behalf, and that really made me start wondering: is this what is necessitating this council? So this so-called council of elders. If that is, I really want to caution that if anybody is taking private initiatives, they should be taking them to liberate Ambazonia. And when I talk about liberating Ambazonia, it should be liberating Ambazonia as echoed on the ground. I think there've been a lot of polls taken, not just empirical talk. There have been a lot of polls taken, and over 86% of those polls have shown that Ambazonians want independence. And when I say independent, I mean their legal independence. So anybody who is anybody who is trying to take any private initiative should be very, 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 very careful that they are taking initiatives that the people will support. And I'm saying this because even CDN took a poll, and I think its results were also above 80 that the people want their independence. But when they reported it in terms of the people wanting some type of autonomy. No, just use the word independence. Say the people want their independence. Don't talk of some greater autonomy or something like that. That is what makes people who are looking critically think, what are you up to? What are you up to? So be careful. But I applaud their work in terms of promoting our struggle. I think they're very organized. I think they're very articulate, and I know that they have members who have very publicly spoken that they are for our independence. But please, anybody taking private initiatives should make sure they're not becoming enablers for forces that do not want to represent the aspirations of the people of Ambazonia. They're also international players. And when I talk about international players, I'm talking about the United States. The United States has been very, very vocal, and the United States has been vocal about the situation in Ambazonia for a very long time. I think in some of our shows we've talked about the United States telling La Republique that the treatment they are giving the people of Ambazonia is treatment that will result to exactly what is going on right now. And we've seen leadership from Congress. We've had some of the most vocal people in power anywhere in the world talking about our case from U.S. Congress. So there are people who in this country are showing tremendous support on our situation. Now, the Secretary of State, Blinken, just made a pronouncement on a new policy, and that policy is to force La Republique to come to the negotiating table. Now, it's a policy which I think is wonderful. It will stop the war. I think the idea is to stop the war, and come to the negotiating table without conditions. Very, what's the word? It's a position that should be promoted, but it shouldn't be promoted at the level of La République du Cameroon. Because if you go to look at the relationship between Ambazonia and La République du Cameroon and its French backers are beneficiaries. They never walked into Ambazonia to colonize Ambazonia. They never did that. They were handed Ambazonia. And so if we are going to look at the situation of Ambazonia, why that place is restless, why its citizens have been agitating, if you want to solve that problem, the root cause does not start with La République du Cameroon or with the relationship with La République du Cameroon. The root cause starts with the British and the UN, because those are the people who did what I would call violate international law, because international law on the Southern Cameroons was that the Southern Cameroons was a trust territory governed by 76B of the UN Charter. And that charter says, lead the people to their independence or self-government. That's what the law says. When the British met in Manfe, in a conference in Manfe, on this question, the people of Ambazonia spoke very clearly that they do not want to get drowned in Nigeria and they do not want to go get burnt in La République du Cameroon. The font of Bafut can be cited as one of the people who was very clear about the right of the people of Ambazonia for their independence. And so the international community, if we are talking about root causes, the root causes do not start with the people of La République du Cameroon. I think our beef with La République du Cameroon is that they came in and were forced to be part of them, and there were agreements that were put together maybe to deceive us. Maybe everybody knew that they were giving us to the lions. They were throwing us in a lion's den. Maybe everybody knew that, but there were agreements that were not kept. And so the only thing Ambazonians really want from La République is for them to move out. And if the dialogue is to decide how they move out or when they move out, then wonderful. But if it's to go and negotiate to stay in that relationship, where Paul Biya himself, about a year or two ago in Paris, said that their goal was to assimilate the people of Ambazonia, then what is it that Ambazonians are going to go discuss with somebody who has said, we are rapists, we went in there to rape them, we did, but they did not succumb. I'm really, it is said that analysis are made at the margins, and this is really the margin of where we are. That's the only way to really understand the relationship between the people of then Southern Cameroon, today Ambazonian, and La République du Cameroon, who came in as La République du Cameroon and now is called La République du Cameroon again. So you can tell that these are people who have never wished us well. They have never treated the people of Ambazonia well. They're like a rapist. And that rapist did not go looking for the rape victim. The British and the UN took this rape victim, gave to La République du Cameroon, and all that La République du Cameroon and its colonial backers have done is rape this victim. The solution for it cannot be that this victim should now go and meet his tormentor to decide on how to continue that relationship with anybody else who is recommending this. Accept being in the situation of Ambazonia to go back and become look, this is a betrayal that has gone for over half a century, and the Ambazonians have protested at every step of the process. The international community did not listen. The people of La République did not listen. The French were behind supporting La République. I think there are newspaper clippings telling where Mitterrand is saying go and get rid of them militarily. And in 2016, Paul Biya did just that. 2017, Paul Biya did just that in response to lawyers saying, come and let's talk on how to live together. And so people who are pushing Ambazonians or telling La République to be the one to solve this problem, I think they're not fair. They're not fair. And I think that they know it. And there's some other interest guiding them than the interest of the people of Ambazonia. But the people of Ambazonia have decided that the Germans did not protect their interests. The British did not protect their interests. La République du Cameroon hasn't protected their interests. And so right now, they want to protect their interests. And so any other person who is trying to propose anything else, it's not going to solve this problem. But this is a problem we need to get solved. Because, like I've said before, humans cannot stand by and see other humans treated in a particular way for such a long time. And I think that's what America is trying to avoid. And my advice to the Americans is to do it like Americans. Take American values down there and solve that problem once and for all. So that's a private initiative. Those are initiatives that are taking place. Now, there are other organizations I know of. There's an alliance. They just call themselves the Alliance. It's an organization that's working very quietly, but their impact is being felt tremendously on the ground. I'm sure with time you'll get to know them. I'm not going to be the one to make public what people want to keep private, but I can tell you that there are organizations that are doing tremendous work quietly on the background. And so when you see what's happening on the ground now, right now, it is because of many collaborations with the fighters on the ground, working with them, having them bring what they can, and making this whole thing work right now. So as we sit and we see these things happening, I know that in the past few weeks, people are beginning to like, okay, what's going on? But these are some of the initiatives that are working, that are creating these results. And so we need to remain very optimistic. And if there's anything else that I will encourage people, is like, keep your ears open. If you hear that, and start asking questions, because these people are doing it privately. They're taking their own risk. They're putting their own resources. In fact, some of them don't even want to come to the public and do big fundraisers like my trip to Boya and some of the other scams that have gone on, and they've collected money and it has disappeared. They don't want to anymore because that particular channel has been damaged. And so these are people who are doing private work, and if you ask some questions and you find them out and you support these initiatives, but just know that Ambazonians they will not sit quiet. They are not sitting quiet. And every channel that is blocked, they do find another one to keep fighting, because it's a matter of life and death for the people of Ambazonia. If you travel between Nigeria and La République du Cameroun, you can see the neglect. You can see the neglect of the inhabitants of Ambazonia, of the infrastructure of Ambazonia. The only thing that has been interesting there is the exploitation. The roads that led from north to south, directed by exploitation, and the roads that are leading right now from west to east, so that Ambazonian resources keep streaming out of Ambazonia, but its people, its infrastructure, and everything else get neglected. Ambazonians have decided that will stop. So if you are feeling the calm in the diaspora, know that there's a lot of work happening behind the scenes, and you can see some of the support going on. Excuse me. You can see the results of the support on the ground. Now, the other group I wanted to really talk about is our fighters. While there has been noise and they've been scamming, they have been focused on the fight. They've been focused on the fight. They've been focused on developing their skills, on ways to get weapons to defend themselves with. While people who are outside the territory encourage infighting between the fighters have found a way to actually stop that. I was listening to Gerald, I think his name is Gerald Nopiti, now Marshall Nopiti. I heard him talking about people who are encouraging infighting to stop doing that, because what he's interested in is focusing on the enemy, and he has been focusing on the enemy. So that's another group that they haven't stopped fighting, and their success on the field is a success that's still, because the ground will not be successful without the support abroad. The ground cannot do that. So we need to continue the support. If you are sitting, you don't know how to support, ask some questions. You'll be directed on how to support. I just thought I should come and let's have this little conversation and know that we are going to go to Boya. We are going to reach Boya, like the song says. I think how fast we get to Boya depends on a lot of things, but mostly on us. So find a way, get involved. Know that this struggle is continuing, and if you're feeling the enthusiasm, you're feeling some energy, you are getting motivated again because what is happening on the ground, please keep asking questions, and you'll find all these private initiatives that I've mentioned and contribute to them. Because even if it's just a dollar or a euro or a pound, it'll go down there and it will become well, you know how that multiplies. And I say this because we all have sent money home. You send your hours pay here, it goes and feeds people in the territory, sometimes more than 2 families in a week. So let's contribute and let's stay optimistic, because we are going to reach Boya, and I can see Boya coming sooner than even I expected. Thanks for listening.